Nigga wasn't impossible. Giving a shout out right now to SPR, Spider Low. Y'all already know what it is. Sauce and air.
Bitch been out all night cheating, called me, told me I want something from the Waffle House. I'ma eat a bologna sandwich in the county jail. Ho, get here.
This nigga wasn't impossible. Big shout out to SPR, Spider Low. You know I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.
All that and then some to the end come, hit the YouTube streets, find a corner and bend one, and we gonna pull right up on Driggity Drizzy Drake, the one that is nothing like us, pointed out, exposed by none other than King Kendrick K. Dot himself. And they say he the biggest loser, man. Like, we know he took a gigantic L in the last year or so, but this is a new piece coming from the channel by the title Fantastic Hip Hop. And it's only from 2 days ago how Drake just became the greatest loser of all time and Kendrick bans him from LA forever. What you been up to, Drake? Shame on you.
I got a question. You know, how much losing can you possibly take? How much fandom and culture can you try to fake? And get ready, say it with me, and leave a like. Now, when it comes to Drake, man, when it comes to Cupcake Drake, this guy has got to be cursed at this point, because when we really look at what has happened now with the World Series and see how much Drake is getting humiliated and see how much losing the loser is taking for losing more, well, genuinely, this is a level of losing that I don't think we have ever seen before, because if we really break things down from the beef to the Super Bowl to the World Series, Drake has managed to humiliate himself at pretty much every major event culturally that we have had recently, and while the Drake stans are trying to act like this is a part of some elaborate plot against Cupcake, and you know, they're doing all the typical lame old loser things that they do, well, pretty much what did happen is Drake walked into Subway and made the sandwich and then complained that he didn't like it, but at the end of the day, my guy, you made the sandwich. So listen, before we get any further into everything that is going down around the Dodgers win, what this means for Kendrick Lamar, who's managed to have such a huge presence in this without even showing up to the World Series at all, and at the same time, well, Drake has really just solidified himself at the center of losing within a way like we have never seen. Make sure to leave a like because we are gonna need it, and the cupcakes are gonna be bad. And wow. You know what's genuinely insane about what just went down at the World Series as the Dodgers beat the Blue Jays in Game 7? Well, honestly, even compared to everything we have seen in this saga of Drake and Kendrick and all of the all-time winning Kendrick has done and all the all-time losing that Drake has, well, within this whole pantheon of moments, I don't know if there is a single event that has had more meaning and that has had more of an impact on just showing how whacked out the Cupcake really is. Because let's just break this down for a second. We go back to 2015, Drake made his hit diss record, which really did save his career at that time, back to back, well, an homage to the Blue Jays back-to-back title.
That was a hard record as far as timing, mood, target, subject matter. He did that. You can't take it from him. That's why I thought K-Dot was going to be up for a little tougher battle. I guess whoever pinned back-to-back ain't on the squad no more.
That they won in the early 1990s. And I mean, you see it on the cover. This was the exact lineage, sport, team, culture, and moments that Drake was playing into for that all-time record. And now, of course, if we fast forward to the beef, Kendrick Lamar uses back-to-back on Euphoria as a framing device to say that he is going to come back and drop more songs, which then he did as he four-peated. And then that was a whole other layer to this whole thing. And so to put it simply, to now see the Dodgers and the Blue Jays play in the World Series this year, of course, this is the LA versus Toronto rivalry. And
oh, duh, for me, Toronto Blue Jays, Canada. You know what I deserve? I ain't gonna lie, I deserve one of these. I know these ain't been coming through clear, but I still deserve one. Let me turn it on up. I deserve that. I just now realized it was Canada versus, yeah, never mind.
This is the team that Kendrick has represented in his career and the team that Drake has bandwagoned in his. Well, ultimately with them clashing and now the Dodgers winning in Game 7 and going back-to-back as this is their second consecutive World Series. Well, this almost...
Oh yeah, K-Dot prophetic is what the hell? How did he do that? How did he do that? Yeah, K-Dot on some prophetic. That's deep. How the f did he? Wow. Wow.
does seem like a prophecy just in terms of what the Blue Jays did, how Drake did it, then Kendrick flipped it, and now the Dodgers have done it. And you know, I guess with Kendrick Lamar, when he is really controlling the narrative and telling the stories, rap just ends up forming and creating reality, which I guess when you write your own raps and actually write your music with real authorship, well, I guess at least you got a better chance of doing that than Drake ever has. And so, you know, beyond the stakes of everything that has happened in the World Series, there is already a massive effect just in terms of the reaction that Drake and Kendrick are getting from this, which first off, Kendrick was literally trending in the top 5 on like every major platform after this, just in terms of his name being used, which really does show that, well, you can try to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. And you know, when you really see that this did turn into the Kendrick Lamar and Not Like Us World Series, you again just start to understand the impact that this guy has, which is like no other, which now first...
Don't tell me at the moment they started winning, they started playing They Not Like Us. That would have been a cold moment to play that. Get them off the field. Or were they in Canada? They was in Canada, probably not going to happen. But if they was at Dodger Stadium, ooh, I wonder how many times They Not Like Us was played throughout the 7 games in the LA home games.
Off, there are 2 things that have just been absolutely hilarious to see and that have really almost escalated this beef into another round in full, which now the first thing that we're going to look at is something that the MLB broadcasters made to celebrate the Dodgers winning the World Series, and it's just this amazing graphic of Kendrick smiling in the GNX and Drake sitting in the back and looking all sad. And you know, right now the Drake stands are going absolutely livid about this. They are so mad. They're saying that this is a whole part of the conspiracy, that everybody's against Drake, and that if this was anybody else, they wouldn't do this. And I've heard some of the most crazy Drake things, which is honestly why I had to hop on the mic and talk about this. But you know, we are not going to give attention to all the lame old clout chasers because we are not going to give them that light of day. But you know, from Kendrick Lamar and the victory he took over Drake really mirroring, and the teams and actual MLB itself acknowledging that with everything that we are seeing so far, well, somehow that's not even the worst thing, is what Nike did now to celebrate the Dodgers winning back-to-back World Series. Well, this is where things get bad, and I just want everybody to remember that Drake is signed to Nike. He has a Nike deal, and well, this
Was he gonna sue them like he did UMG? Sue Boy?
Is literally the brand that he is supposed to be one of the quote-unquote faces for. So just with Nike now making a whole video to celebrate the Dodgers winning back-to-back World Series titles right after everything went down, and with them doing this great video where they use I Love LA, and then they flip it into Squabble Up, and it's just honestly a great mashup and mix. Man, Drake, you have really managed to turn yourself into the most embarrassing thing in literally every single thing that you could possibly think of. Because if we really just look at this now, to now get dissed by your own employer, which I guess maybe already happened with everything with the beef and what you have complained about with your label, but now it's with the brand that makes these weird and whack clothes and shoes with you. And well, once again, we are seeing things just double down and get worse. I mean, you really got to be a whole new level of pathetic and loser to just reach the point that we are seeing right now, where you are getting dissed by the literal MLB, the literal Nike brand that you are supposed to be an employee of. And well, the entire city of LA is laughing at you once again because
He has coming like to be the concept or the image of cornball.
is when it comes to their biggest wins, whether it's the beef or whether it's what we saw right now, well, not just is the LA versus Toronto rivalry really a thing, but well, for you, Drake, you have become the face of the biggest victories that we have ever seen in a lot of things, whether it's the most exciting rap beef of all time or maybe the most exciting World Series, which we just saw end last night. And so just with all of that, I mean, it's really embarrassing for Drake. And I know while a lot of the stands are yelling and saying that the system is rigged and this is why everybody is against Drake, and you know, this wouldn't happen to any other artist, because Drake just has so much influence and he's so popular that they have to make everything about him. Well, I want to be clear about this, and I think we need to make this point, and I just want to say to all of the Cupcake stands, if you are somehow still watching and listening to me, you're not going to like this, but I have to say. Well, listen, Drake has become almost the face of this loss more than any of the actual players on the Blue Jays has. Well, there's a few reasons for that, but really, if we want to break it,
This dude is extremely anti-Drake, or he is extremely pro-Kendrick, but he ain't giving Drake a break. Oh, my mama.
down beyond just the LA and Toronto thing, beyond the Drake versus Kendrick thing, which we're already there and we're gonna be there because this is the way that, well, just culture communicates and builds on itself. Well, beyond just that, when you show up to 3 of the 5 games that are played in your home stadium, and when you act like the absolute doofus that you did, and you try to fish for attention by posting up every time you're there, showing off however you can, and just honestly antagonizing and
We cut them braids at that length. Are they perpetually stuck growing at that size, or that's just the size he desires? Because usually with the cut like that, they seen this spree now. He got to be trimming them.
controlling the LA city, the team, and probably Top Dog Entertainment, Kendrick Lamar, and anybody affiliated with them as a whole. Well, overall for Drake, just like in the beef, you thought you were going to win. You kept taunting, you kept pushing the envelope, and you kept trying to just become this intimidating force who could walk in, take whatever he wants, walk out, and face no consequences for it. But again, and I think this should be the lesson of a lot of the discussions we have been having recently, but there are consequences for your actions, and when you walk around and you incessantly try to taunt and antagonize an entire city of people and one of the biggest organizations in the world, this is exactly what you get. And so to just put this into simple terms for the Drake stans who can't understand or get it across, I'm going to go back to the Subway analogy. Drake walked into Subway, he made the sandwich, he then said he didn't like the sandwich, he yelled at the guy, and then the guy said back to him, Drake, you made the sandwich. And I bet for Drake now, as he was leaving the Rogers Center after just getting embarrassed and humiliated in there one more time, what is also hilarious to say is now that this is the second time in 4 months that he has been absolutely laughed out of the biggest building in his own city, and he has become the focal piece to so many jokes after, as well, from Kendrick Lamar stopping there on the Grand National Tour, doing Not Like Us, getting an encore, and having some of the best shows that we have seen on the entire thing within that building, to then what we are seeing right here, where again, Drake, you've kind of become a bigger joke than any of the Blue Jays players could ever even aspire to be. Well, overall, this loss is really catastrophic. And honestly, I don't think we have ever seen anything this bad, because to just see the pantheon now of where everything has gone for Drake, and really the lineage of losing, which we can say now spans from the beef to the Super Bowl to the World Series, which just in of itself, the fact that you have been the joke and then the loser of all of these events is just speaking so much. Well, ultimately now what I think culture has done in 2024 and 2025 is it's pretty much taken Drake, and again, it's because of your own doing, your own actions, and the very character that you present when you walk outside. But from all of that, you have pretty much immortalized yourself now as maybe the biggest loser that we have ever seen. And it's really crazy because we are at a point where when you think of Drake and when he does anything, whether your reference point is from rap or whether it's from one of these other events where when the Blue Jays lose, you see Drake in the stands whining, or you see him be very quiet after taunting all your favorite team's players. Well, overall, Drake has just faded away, and the only thing that he has even half of a presence for is just being the biggest loser we have ever seen. And in this time where a lot of people are claiming titles like the greatest of all time or the biggest winners of all time, and there's just so many records being made in rap, I guess in baseball now, and in so much else, well, for Drake, no matter what anybody says, you know what you will always have and you could hold over your head? Well, and this is a big one, that you are the biggest loser of all time. And so yeah, that's all I got today. Let me know your thoughts on everything with the World Series, how everything went, and just the mess that Cupcake has created all around altogether. Now, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all of this. Now, if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you have a great day. And I hope you really just enjoy the moment that we are in. And if you want to continue that very moment and see how right before this, Drake had some more bad stuff come out about him in the lawsuit world, that is making him look really, really bad. You're not going to want to miss this one. Check out the suggested video.
Yep. I can agree with the title, the whole get down, the whole spiel. Drake is taking the L. It don't seem real to be at the top and not necessarily drop, but the whole appreciation for your image to stop. You no longer hip hop, you just pop. Shout out to K motherfucking Dot.
Let me get you on camera. Where you from?
California.
No, for real. Leave it on. Serious though.
Watch, baby.
I know where you from though. Where you from?
Eastside PJ Watts.
I'm from Grace 2 Rock, nigga.
Right.
They call you, homie.
Big Slice.
Big Slice.
Yes, yes.
All right, nigga. They call me Puto, cuz.
Right.
Wasn't that personal? Big shout out to SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box. Had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.